Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Saturday Cup Series here as we present the Trader Joe's 200 at Kansas Motor Speedway. Definitely been a great race so far, or I should say a great week of racing so far. We've seen a lot of racing here at Kansas, and every bit of it's been exciting. We've seen 2, 3, 4 wide. I have no doubts that this race is going to be just the same. I mean, we've seen on Thursday, of course, a great race there. A lot of times this Saturday race can sometimes be even more exciting. Of course, my name is Brian Britt, and I am joined in the booth tonight for this evening's action with Big Al. How you doing, man?
Hey, Brian Britt. Wow, the man, the myth, the legend, man. I am so honored to finally get to meet you. No, man, doing pretty good here. Excited to be back in Kansas. Click your heels together 3 times and say there's no place like home. And that's right. Seems like we were here just not too long ago. So excited to see if these guys have learned anything and retained it from the last visit that we had at this lovely track.
Yeah, that's true. Because I mean, a lot of the guys out here right now had a little bit of a little bit of a advantage, I'd say, on the drivers on Thursday, just and some of the other drivers that are in this series here. Just considering they've already had track time here with this 75% fuel. Because I do believe that is something that, of course, does affect the handling in these race cars a lot more than I think we give it credit. We do talk about it a lot, but I don't think anybody really gets it dug into their head, so we'll say it again and again. But qualifying is underway right now. We're watching Joey Preby out there turning some laps. He was the fastest in practice, so we'll have to wait and see if he's able to, maintain that. But let's look at the race facts for this evening's action. I do believe, like I mentioned, the Trader Joe's 200 at Kansas, 134 laps, just like Thursday. Stages 25 and 50. 5 sets of tires. I do believe down in the pits there. 46 laps is the fuel window. Of course, we have seen guys able to stretch it a little bit further than that, Big Al.
Absolutely. I think we've seen guys stretch it as far as 51 laps. So tonight should be no difference. And a lot of guys are going to be trying different things. So we'll get to experience that firsthand, right?
100%. Looks like we got a little bit over 3 minutes left here. Let's take a quick look at the points for the Cup standings here on Saturdays. That'll be up on your screen. Abner Acosta, of course, with 5 wins, more than anybody. I mean, more than anybody by a long shot. He's up in the top spot there for the points. Second place, Chris Severa. Third place, Ryan Strunk. Fourth place, Jose Acosta. Fifth place, Kenny Powell. Sixth place, Kendall Levron. Seventh place, Don Avery. Eighth place, Thomas O'Hara. Ninth place, Chris Johnson. And rounding out our top 10 there in points is Gary Adamson. So we'll have to wait and see. Don't believe I see. Is Abner out there tonight? I know that we were kind of
No,
discussing
he's
with him
not.
before. I think
Yeah, I
something
think,
with his schedule changed, right?
yeah, absolutely. I don't think he's going to be racing with us here on the Saturday Night League anymore. We got to definitely trying to talk him up to come out and race with us on Thursday. Additionally, from the Thursday Night League, Clayton Hoffman is not going to be available there. So he should be coming out to race with us on Saturday. So a little bit of shift in the pendulum. But one good thing about this is we will actually eventually get to see Chris Severa racing against Clayton Hoffman.
Yeah, that would definitely be cool. I wanted to even see Abner race against Clayton because Abner has been lighting it up. Every race he's in, he's up there in contention. So gonna be a little bit sad to see that, but of course you know who's gonna be carrying that torch, Jose Acosta.
Yeah, little brother, well, older brother, bigger brother, I guess I should say. Jose definitely no slouch, man. And Jose kind of came into this league and he had the same kind of vigor that Abner did. The only difference was Jose, he kind of fizzled out, but Abner just kind of kept winning and winning. And it was like, what the heck? What's really going on here?
Yeah, definitely a a crazy ratio of wins that he has. I do believe well over 50% of the races I think he's won. I mean, Abner has been a just straight up stone cold killer on the racetrack. But I mean, I expect Jose Acosta to be, just same. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from that 42 because I mean, you got to think he was in the Final Four for the Super Cup Series. We just wrapped that up. Chris Severa, I do believe, was crowned our champion. But of course, the racing never stops here for the ISCA. The Cup Series, of course, is ongoing. I do believe after this race, 3 races remain in this season. So definitely getting to that close point to where, guys are going to be trying their dangest to catch up there to Abner, but he's probably built such a cushion that he might not even have to race some of these races and still could be in a championship contention.
Yeah, I mean, he's got more wins than the rest of the field combined, so I think he'll be okay on that aspect. But in the bigger things, the bigger picture, I guess you'd say, the cool thing is these drivers get to continue to race on, and tonight should be no exception as we are here in Kansas. And speaking of which, looking at the time, why don't we go ahead and step away, get to hear that national anthem, and we'll be back with your lineup, your grid, and the race as well.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Driver, start your engine!
At Trader Joe's, we do things a little differently, and our customers hold us to a very high standard. This is Dan Bain of Trader Joe's. We work hard to live up to the high standard you've come to expect of us. We travel the world to bring you unique, exciting, exotic products, as well as the basics like milk, eggs, and butter, all at the very best prices every day. We also believe that a satisfying shopping experience is about more than just good products. We want you to enjoy shopping at Trader Joe's. The upbeat crew members, the samples of wonderful foods served up by our great demo crew, so you'll come back often and bring your family and friends too. And how's this for unique? We're so confident that you'll be happy with the products you find at Trader Joe's, we even have a distinctive guarantee. We've tried it and we liked it, but if you don't, just bring it back for a full refund. Thanks for listening.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with tonight's action here. We're going to go ahead and go through the grid here as we have Don Avery, second place on Thursday. He's going to come in here and he's going to grab the pole here on Saturday. Definitely very impressive. They are 30.292. Kendall Avron going to be starting on the outside pole there in second place. Third place going to be the 65 of Joey Preby, with fourth place being Chris Severa. Fifth place going to be Greg Wachinski. Jose Acosta going to be starting in sixth place. Seventh place going to be Kenny Powell. And eighth place, the 8 of Frank Flores. How coincidental is that? Ninth place, Thomas O'Hara. And rounding out our top 10 is Darren Mullins.
Yeah, Derek Jacobs and Gary Adamson round out this 12-car field, and the key to this is always going to be track position. This is one of those tracks where, although passing is not impossible, it's just not easy. So you want to definitely make sure you get up front. So hopefully Don Avery will be able to get himself in an awesome launch here on this initial start of the race. Out, get that clean air, Brian. Stay out in front and, dominate this thing and hopefully get him a hat trick.
Yeah, definitely going to be his goal for sure. Do see a little bit of a technical difficulty here, I do believe, on our YouTube broadcast. Want to make sure we got that all squared away here as we get ready to get this thing going. Everybody's sitting on pit road right now, so I do believe we have a little bit of time. So we'll take another brief step away. We'll be right back and with your racing action. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, we were able to get that cleared up on the YouTube area. If the YouTube does go downstream wise, you can also find us on ISCA. I do believe on Facebook and ISCA Racing on Twitch. So definitely, the stream is still going to be going on no matter what. We do apologize for any kind of technical difficulty though, as we get ready to get this thing underway. Everybody should be getting rolling any time now. Let's talk about the track conditions out there, Big Al.
Yeah, track conditions looks like the ambient air temperature is going to be 74 degrees. Track temp 78 degrees, with the wind's going to be out of the south at about 13 miles an hour. So the cool thing about it is the sun continues to set here, Brian. I think that track temp's going to hold about where it's at, and that's going to be one of the biggest things that's going to help these guys save tires. I think tire wear should not be as big of a factor for these guys, just for the simple fact that the track is a little bit cooler.
Yeah, that should help and probably give a little bit of grip to these drivers to give them a little bit slight edge. But I think tire wear, no matter what, when you're here at Kansas, I think it's going to make somewhat of a difference. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, of course, it could be totally different from what we saw on Thursday. I know Thursday, I mean, these guys fell off a second or more, maybe even almost a second and a half or more than that. Of course, so yeah, I think definitely going to be needing to grab tires whenever you can. Of course, the first two stages, as we always say, are the experiment phases. You know, that's when you're going to want to push it a little harder, figure out what the limits of the race car are. We're still under gridding here, so it seems like must be maybe something going on here. I see Joey Preby keeps blinking in and out here, so that's kind of got me a little concerned, Big Al.
You're concerned. I'm concerned.
Yeah, it looks like 24 Kenny Powell has gotten gridded up. Hopefully, he's able to get that righted. You know what? That's really crazy to think about that, Big Al, though, because I do believe on Thursday we saw a lot of blinking there too, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, and I don't know what's really going on here tonight, but just having an issue right now with the third place car of Joey Preby. They're trying to give him a little bit of time, but there it is here. They're trying to get situated a little bit, but looks like we're going to be rolling here, and he'll be at the hands of the iRacing guides. So as long as he continues to make the necessary connection, he'll be here. But, you know, once he fails to maintain his packet gains, he'll be gone.
Yeah, and I think that that could very well happen anytime. I mean, the way he's blinking worse than anybody we saw on Thursday, really. Wayne Grossi or Kenny Powell. Of course, Kenny Powell did have that throughput error on, Thursday. So I wouldn't be surprised if Joey has that same thing. I mean, hopefully when we go green, it'll be cleared up. But this is going to be an obstacle for a lot of these drivers. As we enter turn 3, our exit turn 4 here, we should see the pace car starting to make its way down pit road. And we'll be going green for the first time here tonight at Kansas in the Trader Joe's 200. We appreciate everybody out there tuning in. And there goes the pace car taking that left-hand turn, getting ready to enter the Geico restart zone. You can see how much room these guys are giving Joey Preby because they're scared. They don't know where he's at. And the green flag is out now.
That is going to cause issues here as we do start to race. Kenny Powell had the same issue on Thursday, and we were like, well, the reason why you were in the lead is because people didn't know where the heck you were at, where you were going to be. So Preby's definitely going to have to get something figured out. So the field kind of staggering behind him.
I mean, you see Kendall LeVron, he keeps appearing right in front of Kendall. I mean, Kendall has no idea where he's going to reappear at, whether it's inside of his car or not. And that is allowing Don Avery to kind of pull away right now. I mean, what a great start for him. Half a second lead, but I think Kendall, he's running on the bottom. Joey keeps popping back in. This is so scary right now.
Ooh, they're right on
inside each other.
Right there. Yeah, and that's just wrong no matter where you're at.
Yeah. Definitely personal space, that's for sure. But it looks like Kendall is going to be able to get by him. You see, he keeps popping in right in front of Greg Wachinski. So these guys are going to have to start to deal with him.
Now he's behind him.
He's trying to race him. This has got to be so scary for this 28 right now to see this 65 blinking and trying to race you.
it's hard for us to even kind of keep up with it.
You can see the sparks on the ground kind of a little bit too when he pops back in.
And what you see, though, I love seeing Chris Severa just kind of slide on to the back. He's like, I don't want any parts of this whatsoever, so I'm just going to go ahead and roll right on back here to the back of the pack.
Yeah, 100%. Well, good thing we do have these stages, though, so hopefully by the time Stage 1 or Stage 2 is over, he's got it somewhat fixed. I mean, hopefully everybody's been somewhat letting him know over the radio. See Frank Flores starting to put a little bit of pressure there on Kenny Powell, and now Powell going to try to go to the top side and maybe trying to get mine with Wachinski, but Wachinski is fearing for his life. Let's take a cockpit camera here from Wachinski.
Oh, he knows. Trust me. There's no way on earth that he does not know.
I mean, you see the sparks just flying all over the windshield here of Greg Wachinski. He has no idea where he's at. The Magic Man. Now you see me, now you don't. And you can see how clearly this has had a huge impact on the field. I mean, because once Kendall LeBron got by Joey, he started pulling away. I do believe he hasn't come back in a little bit here. I'm wondering did he get the throughput?
Not yet.
You see pretty much everybody has gotten somewhat lined up. Not as hectic as a start as we saw on Thursday. You see Thomas O'Hara, though, starting to catch up there to Frank Flores, trying to get around him. That could have been the best thing. I don't know. I mean, not to say that, of course, Joey blinking like that is a good thing. But I think it does help the field kind of be a little bit safer when it comes to giving each other a lot of room. Previous falling back all the way back to 8th now.
Yeah, he's definitely got to just keep falling back and then trying to, hopefully he'll be able to get his connection issues kind of figured out. I don't think it's all on him, though. I do believe some of the issues that he's having are based on the service as well.
Yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot of that. I mean, could it have been possibly an update recently or something like that on the server side for iRacing?
Yeah, poor Chris Severa. He's like, man, I slid all the way back here to the back to kind of stay out of it. And it's like he's got a preview magnet on the front of his car.
Yeah, and he's 8 seconds back from Don Avery here. I mean, I kind of was thinking that, he's falling back to maybe save tire and not be involved in this. I'll tell you what, Don Avery's starting to get caught, I do believe, by Kendall LeBron and Greg Wachinski. I mean, once Wachinski kind of felt like, I'm safe now. I could turn the gas pedal down, you know. Here comes Kenny Powell, going to be trying to go to the inside of Wachinski. Battle of the teammates here for 3rd place. Powell up to the top side. Of course, Kansas is a track where there is a lot of speed to be gained up there on that top. But we also heard guys say that, you run the bottom just to save the tire.
Yeah, kudos to Don Avery, though, man. Don is out front, and like you and I were talking, and I was saying, like, I talked to him on Thursday and said, hey, maybe it's time for you to kind of graduate up and get to talk to Brian. So hopefully he'll be able to get out there tonight, do what it takes, and possibly get a hat trick, man, if not even win a couple of stages and possibly the race would be awesome. I mean, that team needs a victory. That'd be an awesome big old plate of biscuits for those guys right there. They need to know.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Definitely. I mean, Don Avery, very, very strong performance on Thursday. And, if it hadn't have been, for our winner there on Thursday, I would say that, he would have won that race himself. I mean, he was doing fantastic out there on the track.
Yeah, well, maybe this is his night. Maybe this is his track. Maybe the stars will align and he'll be able to get this thing he'll get it in there. He'll be able to, on the green in two and two putt.
As I do believe, are now halfway through this stage. Of course, still have, I do believe, 12 laps to go when we cross the line here next time by, and we'll be crowning our Stage 1 winner. Don Avery right now out to almost 9/10 of a second on Kendall LeBron, but LeBron closes in slightly and then kind of loses it a little bit, or not really loses it, like his handling's not going away. I'm just saying that the pace is not been very kind, I'd say, to Kendall right now, considering he's getting caught by, Kenny Powell. Powell has gotten by Greg Wyszynski. Here comes Kenny Powell now, kind of trying to get to the back bumper of Kendall LeBron. Powell's, yellow flag is out.
65, Joey Preby. He looks like got into the 27 of Derek Jacobs.
I think we'd be better off watching Derek Jacobs. Yeah, you see the 65 right there behind him, of course, intermittently behind him. He kind of keeps blinking back and forth here, and I just don't know if he knows it. I think this is Derek Jacobs had no clue what was going on. Hopefully the damage on that car wasn't too severe. See, all of a sudden he starts going up to the top, so it had to be something with Preby there, because all of a sudden that car, and you see Preby sliding around there, missing his rear end. It's a very interesting accident here. I think this is one that's almost impossible to kind of unpack, just considering, I mean, there's an unknown party there that's blinking around, is acting like a ghost.
Yeah, Preby is the recipient of the meatball flag. Looks like Jacobs is still good to go, so hopefully he'll be able to get his minimal damage fixed and continue to race on.
Hopefully can get it buffed out. Oh, nope, I don't think he's going to fix that. I don't know what he was just doing there. I'll watch him come back down pit road. He's going to go down pit road to try to, like you said, get some of those damage repaired, and I don't know if it's just frustration. Watching right now from this camera, he goes to go down pit road and maybe just locks the tires up because.
Well, whatever he did there, yep, he just broke that left front toe link. So now he does have a meatball flag, and that is going to affect his outcome for the evening.
Yeah, you're definitely speaking some facts there. I mean, he's going to be down there for at least 8 minutes. And I think a lot of that came down to whenever he was going down pit road, he didn't kind of commit all the way, and last second dropped down onto the apron and hit the brake at the same time. And the car is not settled when you're kind of on two different levels of banking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Derek Jacobs has now decided that he is no longer going to be with us here this evening. He is withdrawn from tonight's contest.
I hate to see that. Probably wasn't thinking very clearly, just considering, I mean, that was something. I mean, that would be very upsetting if I was involved in something like that when you have a blinker out there and then, he's racing you really closely and you really don't know where he's at. So, I mean, I hate that for him. I really do. I mean, I hate that for Joey Preby, too. I mean, I'm hoping, but it's a little more excusable if he didn't know that he was blinking, but I would have a feeling that a lot of people were probably telling him, hey, man, you are not very solid right now.
Yeah, there's no way he didn't know. I mean, ignorance is not a sin, but, having a poor internet connection and causing somebody else's race to be tainted is.
Of course, that is going to leave us with a short shootout here to the end of the stage. I do believe we're going to have, 8 laps.
Now, hopefully Don Avery will be able to actually get a good start there. Hopefully he'll be able to get the field stacked up. I think that's going to be the key. He cannot allow them to kind of be feathered out back there, because any attempt to get a run is going to be kind of productive for his needs. So stack them up, John.
Here we go. He's definitely doing exactly that. He kind of slowed it down a bit and then just got a good jump. Kenny Powell was not, I don't believe, he didn't fall for it very much because he drove right around Kendall LeBron on the bottom. Kendall definitely did not predict that launch as good as Kenny did.
Yeah, that's exactly what Don Avery needed to do to get it done. And now the key is going to be to just kind of let that baby run. And hopefully he'll be able to maintain that lead and then get those elbows out there towards the end of that thing. 3 wide, a little bit further on. Is Kendall LeBron getting
contact?
Squeezed. He's going to get into Greg Wachinski. Greg is down in the grass past the start-finish line. He is still going to keep going back up onto the track, higher in, but looks like everybody's going to continue to go. Wow, that was close.
Kind of see what happened right here. You see Chris Severa, I think, scared Kendall, and Kendall just came down the track and got into the 5 of Greg Wachinski. I don't think that anybody's worse for wear, but that could have turned out a lot worse than it did.
Yeah, speaking of turning out worse, Chris Severa dropped all the way back to last place, was seconds behind, and here he comes now on the outside, charging by Don Avery. That's going to put him up in the lead and giving him the best hand forever on this with 5 laps to go in this stage.
And you know what I think led to that, him having this tremendous amount of pace, was him falling back to the back and not really racing. I mean, he was not really going fast at all, wasn't burning the tire, and once he hit that switch on that restart, he was gone. He is running very quickly right now, pulling away from Don Avery. This is a advertisement right here, Big Al, if I've ever seen one, on how to save tire.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Chris Severa having the fastest lap of the race on that last lap. So now he is definitely got it dialed in, and he gone, Brian. He gone.
Glad that Greg Wachinski was able to keep it underneath him, though, as he's going to be battling back for position. He's trying to get underneath Jose Acosta to take that spot away. Side by side, I do believe, for 7th place. So, wondering how Greg Wachinski's feeling about all that just happened.
Well, you know, the only thing you can feel about it is you just got to kind of get out there and keep racing. This first stage is really, it's the stage that you're going to learn in. So you got to try a lot of different things. Throw everything at it that you can. Try to make it happen. Here comes Gary Adamson around Kendall LeBron, and that's going to put Adamson up to 6th place or 5th place now. So welcome to the top 5, Gary Adamson.
Kendall LeBron just scrubbing the wall a little bit there. Some tight conditions coming out of that race car.
And speaking of that, Darren Mullins also up to the 3rd place. He started in 10th. That's going to make him our biggest mover thus far of the race. As Chris Severa continues to whip this pony on around the track, I think if he does it for just 2 or more laps, Brian, he's going to put stage 1 in the books.
That he is. White flag for the stage, getting ready to come out here when he crosses the line there on the backstretch. Don Avery now side by side with Kenny Powell. We were just talking about Darren Mullins. He is now up into that 2nd place position. I think he was another one that was saving some tire.
Yeah, and Avery's actually sliding back the wrong direction, so hopefully they'll be able to get back over there on the other side of the wall, break into that Snap Coast toolbox there, figure out how to put some potions together and maybe find some speed. But Chris Severa definitely showing what needs to be done. And how about Darren Mullins bringing it in? This will be podium as well in a stage here in the ISCA as far as I've been around.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be some good points. I mean, he's going to be getting some really good points. I do believe just one less than, of course, Chris Severa, who gets the stage win. But definitely good day for Darren Mullins. I mean, he showed a lot of talent when it comes to saving tire. Yellow flag is out now, and that will complete stage number 1. Chris Severa, your stage 1 winner. Darren Mullins, 2nd place. Kenny Powell, 3rd. 4th place, Don Avery, of course, our pole sitter. 5th place, Gary Adamson. 6th place, Kendall LeBron. 7th place, Thomas O'Hara. 8th place, Jose Acosta. 9th place, Greg Wachinski. And 10th place, Frank Flores. Triple F. With that, we'll take a brief step away, play a little bit of attention to our sponsor seal, and we'll be right back with whoever I decide to talk to.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy, and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
At Trader Joe's, we do things a little differently, and our customers hold us to a very high standard. This is Dan Bain of Trader Joe's. We work hard to live up to the high standard you've come to expect of us. We travel the world to bring you unique, exciting, exotic products, as well as the basics like milk, eggs, and butter, all at the very best prices every day. We also believe that a satisfying shopping experience is about more than just good products. We want you to enjoy shopping at Trader Joe's. The upbeat crew members, the samples of wonderful food served up by our great demo crew, so you'll come back often and bring your family and friends too. And how's this for unique? We're so confident that you'll be happy with the products you find at Trader Joe's, we even have a distinctive guarantee. We've tried it and we liked it, but if you don't, just bring it back for a full refund. Thanks for listening.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, they have just completed their yellow flag pit stops. Of course, Chris Severa coming from essentially the back to the front. I mean, it seemed like you did a heck of a job there saving some tires, Chris. How you feeling?
Yeah, that was fun. That wasn't really the plan. I wasn't going to come in at the end of stage one, but that caution kind of threw a wrench in that, and I figured I might as well go for it.
Now, what led you to kind of stay back so far? Was it the 65 kind of having that blinking issue?
No, I just kind of wanted to see if I could save an extra set. I probably won't need it, but you never know here. Having an extra 15 laps on tires can make the difference at the end. So we'll see if we can, I don't know if I'll try and do the same thing here. Maybe, maybe not. But it's a much shorter stage. But these guys are pretty clean, so I don't know. I might as well just go for it just for the hell of it, but, just make it interesting.
All right, man. Well, it seems like you're definitely going for it for sure, man. Well, who can we give a shout-out to before we let you get back to it?
Yeah, just everyone gas and go for the setup this week. And you guys, as always, for the broadcast. Appreciate you.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time, Chris, and we'll let you get back to it. Focus up and get back after it.
Thanks, guys.
That was Chris Severa, our Stage 1 winner. I mean, that's funny, though. He just, on a whim, decided to drive to the front there, Big Al. Interesting thought process he was going through there to try to maybe save a set of tires and not, just not take tires throughout both the stages. But he did take tires, so I think he thought better of it.
Yeah, and not only did he take tires, but he elected to come back out in front. So I think he is already letting us know where that car feels comfortable being, that 62 G&J Fanatec Ford. And he is taking us to the Geico restart zone.
Green flag, green flag.
The green flag is back out in the air as Chris Severa takes off. Darren Mullins now under fire from Don Avery. A lot of stacking up going on behind here. Chris Severa in a land of his own while everybody else is right up on top of each other.
Avery definitely got a good restart there, and that's going to push Mullins back up to the top. Avery has to do everything he can right now. I think he is going to get around Severa. I don't think Severa is going to be pushing it right now. I think we know what direction he's going to be planning on going. So Don Avery has definitely got to decide how much he wants to push, how early. Maybe he wants to try to save a little bit so that way he'll be available at the end of stage 2, Brian.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing by Chris. I think he's just not going to push it very hard. He's going to let somebody else go up there, probably lead it a little bit, save the tire. That's kind of what we saw from Derek Heitman, our winner on Thursday, as we see a little bit of blocking going on. Kendall LeVron and Darren Mullins battling it out.
Yeah, I don't think that's a battle that John Mullins wants. Is now they're side by side, almost door banging there. Kendall LeVron kind of got taken out a little bit earlier on there on Thursday along with Frank Flores. So think he's going to be definitely trying to get a long run here tonight.
Yeah, 100%. Kenny Powell going up the racetrack a little bit. Oh, Darren Mullins almost into the outside wall. He slows down substantially because of that. Kind of checks up Greg Wachinski. You see Gary Adamson going to try to take advantage. I almost feel like Mullins might be trying to save tire too.
Yeah, I think both of those two drivers kind of experienced similar things at the same time there, which kind of caused Mullins to kind of check up, get high onto the wall. But Powell's trying to figure out where he wants to be in this scenario as Donna Avery is continuing to lead us along the way here in stage 2. Got 17 laps left in this stage before it's actually officially in the books.
See, Jose Acosta has now worked his way up into 3rd place. He's right on the back bumper there of the 62. Those two green cars dueling right now, and I think Acosta definitely wants to get some more positions here. A lot closer of a run in this stage here, just considering we didn't have that obstacle of the blinking race car. That is definitely something we've seen a whole lot here lately, but hopefully iRacing does something to hopefully kind of fix that. It's 24 battling up on the top side with Kendall LeBron, door to door.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody is pretty much single file, but if you look further back in the pack, besides Kendall LeBron and Kenny Powell, well, further back now you got Gary Adamson and Darren Mullins along with Frank Flores and Greg Wachinski. So side-by-side racing, we went from being pretty much single file to, hey, man, let me see if I can advance my position. But the person that's still leading the track right here, it's going to be Don Avery. Like I said, we're going to be seeing if Don can actually withstand that run. Hopefully he doesn't, kind of peter out towards the end of the stage. Hopefully be able to carry it out all the way this time.
You do see it's starting to get a little bit hazy out there. I'd say it's starting to, encroach on literally late afternoon. 77 degrees out on the track, so cooled off. It's cooled off a little bit. Wasn't it 78?
No, sir. 74, 77 is where we started.
Oh, okay. So it's still the same.
Yes, sir.
Still a lot of racing going on, though, as you see Thomas O'Hara underneath Gary Adamson, side by side for 6th place. Adamson definitely looking pretty good here tonight. You also see Kenny Powell now trying to throw some barrages at, Jose Acosta.
Joseph Acosta. We're playing a name game, man. Chris Severa now catching up to Don Avery. It's going to take him about 2 more turns, and I think in those 2 turns, he'll have Avery exactly where he needs him to be in order to make the pass around him. Now, once he makes that pass, I don't know. I think Avery might continue to slide back, but I don't see Severa slow. It's Jose Acosta now being battled by Kenny Powell. Powell started this stage just somewhere about 5th or 6th place. Now he is trying to get up onto the podium as well.
Yeah, you see Powell even almost trying to get side by side there with Jose Acosta. Maybe throw a little side draft to pull that 42 back a little bit here. Now he's going to try to go to the low side, but not quite able to get there. He sends it into 1 and 2 all the way at the top of the racetrack. And he's going to get a monster run on the exit here.
Now, you can go up there just for those situations just like that, what he did to Jose. But Jose is going to go ahead and
problems. Kendall LeBron sideways.
Kendall LeBron drifted it. He drifted it to turn 2 right there.
I think that was some contact between him and Greg Wachinski.
Kendall LeBron drifting between turns 3 and.
Let's take a look back at this right now. Got a little bit of a replay here. Greg Wachinski coming up onto the back of Kendall. And, yeah, just a little bit of touching going on right there. I don't think this is over. Yeah, Greg just comes and almost cleans him out. What a save, though, from Kendall LeBron. I don't think Wachinski was too happy with LeBron from that last accident. Big Al.
Ooh-wee. Green flag racing continues. Don Avery leading the charge as we are now 9 laps to go in this stage. Chris Severa in second with his G&G teammate Kenny Powell in third. Jose Acosta now trying to rebattle back as he's on the inside of Powell, trying to get back up onto the podium, but Powell's getting a little bit wider than well, he's getting as wide as he needs to be in order to keep Acosta at bay, Brian.
Yeah, he's definitely looking like a goalie right now, trying to make sure that Jose cannot get into the net. As we see Thomas O'Hara side by side with Greg Wychinski. Wychinski driving his way now up into the top 5 if he gets by that 111. I think he's going to do it.
This was about the stage in the race in that last, well, this was about the phase in that last stage that Avery started to kind of fade away. So like I said, I was hoping that not only did he make the right adjustments, not only to his setup, but maybe to his driving style so that he'll be able to actually stay out front of this thing, man. I'm counting on you, Don. I need you to go ahead and try to win at least a stage for us here tonight.
I think you put a lot of pressure on him on Thursday, and I think that he's making diamonds out here right now. I hope so, for your sake.
That's right. Cherry needs a big diamond.
That's right. Sherry, of course, being his wife, definitely a staunch supporter there of that 11 machine.
Yeah, pressure does two things. You know, it bursts pipes and builds diamonds. So,
see Jose Acosta now under fire here from Greg Wychinski. Wychinski not done yet. He wants more positions. He's going to try to get 4th away here. And I do believe 6 laps to go here in this stage now that we've crossed the start-finish line. I think Avery might have this stage here. I mean, we saw Chris Severa in that last stage was saving so much tire. I think he's burned him up a little bit this time.
You always talk just a little bit too soon. I mean, you know, Chris Severa, if anything, he is laying back. I mean, he's the white mamba.
Hey, I don't mind being wrong, Big Al. I mean, I think that's, you know, I don't want anybody watching this race to be able to predict the outcome of this thing, so I don't mind being wrong.
Well, it's just like on the last stage when we saw him way in the back, you know, you kind of think, oh, wow, Severa's in the back, you know, he's saving tires. Yeah, he was, and then he just decided to go, you know, so I don't think he's yet decided to go just yet. We'll be watching to see when he does put the hammer down. But speaking of going, here comes Greg Wychinski coming by Jose Acosta. That battle is going to be for 5th place, or 4th place, actually.
Man, that scares the crap out of me. I got to be honest. Well, I think we just had a Twitch subscriber there. Do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. It kind of scared me a little bit. But, yeah, Wychinski definitely under fire right now, even from Thomas O'Hara, because you see Jose able to defend on that top side as we're verging on 3 laps to go. We had a Twitch subscriber just now. Somebody just followed us. And it made a loud noise in my ear.
And it scared you.
It scared me. It did.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Big Al was not afraid.
You didn't even hear it.
Come to my voice.
Yellow flag is out. Uh-oh.
Not sure exactly where that's at.
I am not sure either. Possibly Gary Adamson?
No, it says that Kenny Powell threw the caution flag.
Oh, that's interesting. That must have very much been a mistake.
Well, I don't understand. What do you mean it was a mistake?
Well, I'm just saying he must have accidentally maybe threw that caution. I don't know. We definitely might need to get to the bottom of that one. We'll have to wait and see. But the caution, of course, nonetheless is out.
And that will actually end this stage.
I wonder if that, you know, I think Avery was going to hang on to it and get the stage win either way.
Yeah, that is going to put Donna Avery as your stage 2 winner here tonight.
Yep, that's right. Chris Severa going to finish 2nd place. Kenny Powell in 3rd. 4th place, Jose Acosta. 5th place, Greg Wychinski. 6th place, Thomas O'Hara. 7th place, Kendall Levron. 8th place, Darren Mullins. 9th place, Frank Flores. And rounding out our top 10 is Gary Adamson. Of course, we saw this stage end a little bit prematurely. Not sure what happened, but nonetheless, Don Avery, our stage winner. We'll take a brief step away. We're right back with him. Actually, depending on who Big Al wants to talk to. I'm sure you want to talk to him, though.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy, and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, pit stops have been completed. Don Avery able to win the race off of pit road. Kenny Powell, though, beats Chris Severa off of pit road. And I do believe Big Al has a guest joining us.
Hey, Don Avery, Big Al up in the booth, man. How you got me?
I got you loud and clear, Al.
Hey, congratulations to you, sir, for your stage 2 victory. I don't know what happened. It ended a little bit prematurely there, but how's it feeling down there tonight?
Feels pretty good. The first run, I was a little too fast out of the box, so I tried to slow it down a little bit there, just pace the guys a little better. We'll see what happens in this next stage.
You feeling pretty good about your long run setup on this car right now?
Yeah, if we can just take care of the tires for like the first 20 laps or so, I think we'll be good to go, on each run after the green flag pit stop.
Well, roger that, man. I am definitely rooting for you here. Take care of those tires, man, before we let you go. Who you shouting out for after your stage 2 win?
My wife, Sherry, and Triad. But, hey, Sherry, I did what you told me to do.
All right. Hey, good luck to you, sir, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to you at the end of this thing.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Alrighty, that was Don Avery, our stage 2 winner, and they're going to be getting back to the action now as he's going to be leading us to green for the final stage. Of course, this is one that requires a green flag pit stop if it goes green. But then again, we have seen 1 or 2 cautions here tonight.
Avery, stack him up, Don. There he is. He's off, and he did get a blistering start. Severa got a great pull on Powell, who was on the outside. Powell started P2, kind of got caught sleeping just a little bit as Don Avery now is off and away. The rest of the field seems to be settled in just fine. Single file racing a lot faster than it was the last time. The only 2 that are side by side is the 42 and the 24, Kenny Powell and Jose Acosta, trying to figure out who wants to be in 3rd place.
Yeah, that's one thing that these guys are going to have to figure out quick, especially when it comes to trying to save tires. These guys are going to have the longest runs of the race here tonight as Kenny Powell goes underneath Chris Severa. He's going to try to take away 2nd.
Yeah, Severa definitely going to want to lie. He's just going to slide back. That's all he's going to do. He's not trying to wear his tires out. And then about 10 laps before he's ready to go on his green flag pit stop, he's going to go ahead and put the hammer down. That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to try to get that time back up there, close the gap, and then he'll ride that advantage into the last 3rd phase.
Got a nice cockpit camera here from Jose Acosta as he's trying to work his way up to Kenny Powell's back bumper. Definitely some really, really fast speeds these guys are hitting on this track. I mean, look at that in the corner on these new tires. Only fell down to about a 171, Big Al. I mean, that is not very low in speed at all. And top speed, 187, 188. I mean, that is quick going through these straightaways.
Well, unfortunately, you don't get to keep new tires forever. I mean, new tires will wear out, and that's going to be, I believe, the headline as we get further on in this stage. Now, if these guys can make it in and off of pit road, great, and everybody can kind of maintain. There's been great racing thus far, only having the one issue there between Joey Preby and Derek Jacobs. And I believe that was more of a glitching issue than it was a racing issue. So what I'm saying, I said all that to say this, is these guys are going to take this thing green the remainder of the way. It's going to be all about how well and how fast you're going to be able to go once you get 40 plus laps on those tires.
See, Greg Wachinski is just taking 4th place away from Chris Severa. Now Severa under some pressure here from Kendall Levron and some battling, I do believe, side by side a little bit further back there as Frank Flores gets a little loose off the corner off of 2.
Yeah, Severa's just going to be trying to slip on back there a little bit. Not trying to draw attention to himself, but he does want to just kind of not lose the draft, but just kind of really conserve and save.
100%. You see Frank Flores still diving onto the bottom here, trying to get by Thomas O'Hara. Of course, Kendall Levron under fire by Thomas O'Hara. So side by side, back here in the kind of back here in the end of the pack. This is where all the racing's at back here.
Well, and unfortunately, I don't think that's what they want. I think Kendall Levron's trying to do the same exact identical thing that Chris Severa is, and unfortunately, those two not racing each other is ended up being the biggest race on the racetrack.
Yeah, it really has, and it's kind of caused some would-be 3-wide or potential 3-wide conditions here as we're getting really close to that as Chris Severa falls back. I do believe now to 8th place, maybe even further than that. He might be even going to last. I think the only person he is still in front of is Gary Adamson. So this looks a lot like that first stage. Of course, these guys are quite a ways back now. I do believe 2.8 seconds.
Yeah, this is save time. You got go time, you got save time. This is save time. It's far from go time. So right now we're just on lap 60 at the line of 134, not even, halfway through this thing. So, I think it's just time to chill, just kind of stay in the slipstream, save gas. Because think about it like this. When you do come in the pit, the more gas you have, the less time you're going to have to spend down pit road.
Yeah, definitely still a lot of racing going on as Wachinski now under fire from O'Hara. O'Hara at probably the highest he's been all night long. Definitely looking really good in that 111. Kenny Powell now in the lead. Look at this. This is definitely a change in pace here. Kenny Powell going to be definitely loving that clean air. How big is the clean air out here? I mean, I'd say it's pretty big.
But at this stage of the race, I don't think it's that big of an issue. I think right now the biggest thing is conservation. You want to save tires and fuel, and you can't do either one of those two if you are the carrot, as you like to say. If you're the rabbit and you're out there, and you're being chased by those Danes or those Greyhounds, that's totally different. I don't think you want to be in the lead at this stage of the race. I think you want to pull a page directly out of Severa's playbook, if anybody's.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to count against that 62, that's for sure. I mean, I don't know, though. This is going to be quite a lot of time he's going to have to make up. But then again, I mean, with the new tires, he could be a half a second faster than the other guys and make that up very, very quickly, as he's about 3 seconds back now. Even Gary Adamson has gotten by him. He is now in that 10th and last position, or last of the running drivers, I should say.
Yeah, but all he's doing is he's just staying back there in the draft, Brian, and he's clutching it, and he's just hanging out, man, and he's not wasting tires or gas, and that's just it. But everybody can't do that. I mean, you understand, somebody's got to be up front. Right now, that's the 24 Kenny Powell, and everybody else now at that point, they got to run the pace that Powell's setting. And if you don't like that pace, well, you get up front and you set the pace yourself.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, Kenny, it is kind of hard to set your pace and be able to not burn the equipment up. We'll have to wait and see if he's going to be able to successfully do that. I mean, he's not really pulling away from Don Avery, but then again, I don't think Don Avery has been really much one to save tire either,
Well, I think Don got out there and he got a little bit race happy because no one was kind of challenging him, and I think that's what he was expecting. I'm not trying to say that I know exactly what he's thinking, but that's what it kind of seemed to be. He was expecting to get more challenge. But if you look at what the field is doing, everybody's kind of laying back, Brian. They're just all back there just, taking it uber easy, super easy. Nobody's really pushing the issue, and that's cool. But eventually, somebody's going to have to do something.
Yeah, for sure. You got to do something eventually here. We'll have to wait and see when that move comes.
Yeah, these guys are 15 laps into this stage, man, and they're all just out there, being like, oh, so nice, going to Walmart Sunday, just pick up some groceries. Yeah, that's going to change here eventually.
You see Kendall LeBron just made a pass there on Darren Mullins, moves up to 5th. Mullins now going to go to the inside to try to see if he can't cross him back over. Looks like Kendall's going to shut the door. Kendall definitely trying to recover from earlier, things happening and earlier going ons, but definitely good run from that 42, Jose Acosta, able to somehow maintain 3rd place, but here comes Wachinski, going to be trying to take that away.
Yeah, but also good on Darren Mullins, man. I mean, getting a podium finish there at the last stage, so that's always good for that team. We don't usually get to see those guys right up front like that.
No, that's definitely a good point. I mean, we don't get to see them up front a lot, and getting a good points day there going to definitely help out that team quite a bit here. As we're now 68 laps into the race. Kenny Powell, of course, still in the lead.
Yeah, I mean, we're entering the halfway point here, man, and we've seen several different leaders for this contest. But the biggest thing is, I don't think we would ever normally say this, man. We are lined up from Powell to Severa. I mean, Kenny Powell is your leader. Severa is bringing up the rear of the field. Now think about that one for a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely right there with you. Definitely all the way back there in 10th place, 4 seconds back. I mean, that's going to be it's just going to be difficult. I mean, I still have faith that he can do it, and something else could happen. I mean, these guys are going to start getting tighter and tighter. We've seen that all week long, Big Al, to where as the tires start to wear, I mean, it starts to get tight. The car starts to drift up the racetrack, especially with the dirty air, and that could cause contact, I mean, with the wall or another driver.
Yeah, and you're about halfway through this run. Realistically, guys got 20 laps on their equipment right now. You're not even wanting to come down the pit road till you got at least 40. So that's about where everybody has to be. So this is a health check. I mean, right now, you as a crew chief or a spotter, you just want to know, hey man, how's the car doing? Because you're almost at that point where you're going to have the longest run of the night. Within 5 laps of that, you're going to have 25 laps. That's your longest run of the night. So you're still going to want to talk to them and say, hey, look, how's it going? And if it's tight, then you better take it easy and start lifting a little earlier and trying to roll through the turns, maybe clutch it, figure it out. But it's not going to get the handle any better by you driving harder. You understand what I'm saying, Brian?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, starting to see a little bit of a blinking issue there for the 42. Looks like he's solid now, though. But I kind of get a little worried after all the blinking we've seen tonight. But look at Frank Flores go side by side with the 64 of Darren Mullins. Definitely some battling still going on here as we're now 72 laps into this thing. And it looks like Flores, all the way up to the wall. I believe Frank just tagged that wall a little bit there. But that's a slide job if I ever saw one, and he got the position.
Yeah, he's no stranger to running along that high side and scraping the wall. Frank got took out very, very early on Thursday, so you got to believe that tonight he is here, not only trying to redeem himself, but, that 8 car, he is definitely due a podium run as well, Brian. We did see him have a little success a little bit earlier on in the season, but it's been a little while. It's easy to say that the 8 car has been on a little bit of a drought. So it would be great to see if he could kind of pull something out, pull a rabbit out of a hat here tonight, and maybe get that thing at least in the top 5.
Yeah, definitely. And you got to respect Frank Flores, just considering, I mean, he always shows up. I mean, even though he has a lot of bad luck. I mean, he has a ton of bad luck. A lot of the league, we call him in other leagues, and he has bad luck in those leagues too, but he still shows up. And he still races as we have a battle for the lead going on as we speak. Don Avery going after that top position.
Yeah, Don Avery getting a little restless there following the 24 Powell. I think he wants to get back up front. Interesting to note, though, lap times have fallen off just a little bit over a second here as the drivers now are at the stint that's equal to the longest run. 25 laps on their tires now as they cross the line. So now we're seeing about a second fall off. I don't know. What do you think that weighs in there, Brian? Do you think that's about typical? Or do you think that's a little low what we should be seeing? Oh, additional to note, the 117 of Thomas O'Hara, he's on pit road.
This is really early to be going down pit road. I don't think they're in the fuel window here, so this could be an unscheduled stop. But no, I agree. I mean, when you're talking about the lap times, how they've fallen off over a second here, I mean, it's not surprising. I think the fall off's not as much as what we saw on Thursday because of the temperature difference that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, temperature is falling now. That track temperature is being seen at 70 degrees. Thomas O'Hara is off in a way back out. Not sure exactly what that was about, as he will not be able to complete this contest with the amount of fuel that he has in that vehicle. So he's going to have to make at least one more stop. So maybe something happened with the handling of that car and just couldn't make it work, that he had to come down pit road. But I guess we'll never know, Brian, unless he can find a way to put that thing on the podium.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely concerning. I mean, maybe he knows something we don't, as we see a battle going on here for Greg Wyszynski and Jose Acosta. The battle for third underway right now, side by side, as Acosta is underneath. Of course, Wyszynski earlier in this stint was able to pass my Jose, so I almost feel like maybe he burnt the equipment up a little bit, but we'll have to wait and see. You also see the 28 starting to close in. The longer these guys are side by side, the quicker that 28 is going to get up here.
Yeah, but also these guys are just destroying their own momentum because, having to be pushed to go tight, to either go high or low with somebody right beside you like that, that's just not what you want to do. And I think that's the reason why you keep seeing these guys trading blows. This is like what I like to refer to as that heavyweight bout, and they're right about there around 11, if you will, just trying to do whatever they can to keep those cars handling well as the handling now. Well over a second, and sometimes some of these guys are a second and a half off their fastest times.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you, one of the fastest in the field, though, right now is Chris Severa. But Don Avery still running faster laps than him right now, but second fastest is Chris Severa as he tries to get his way back through the field. He is now up to 6th place, and I do believe he is going to be catching up here to Kendall Ron at some point. You see him right there on your screen as these 3rd, 4th, and 5th all try to battle for position.
Yeah, and definitely want to give another shout out to Avery. I know I hate to do this, but, not only did he start this thing on the pole, he won stage 2, Brian, but he also has the fastest lap time of the race. I mean, that is no small feat within itself. So as long as he can keep doing what he's doing, I mean, this is his race to lose, if you will.
And we're definitely in that unknown territory also, just considering we are 31 laps into this run here. As we go 3 wide for just a moment, Kendall LeBron dives to the inside of Greg Wyszynski, and he's going to take that spot. Contact!
And he get it. Contact between the 42 and the 28. These tires, like I said, these tires are just worn now where you kind of got to point and shoot, but it's more like a boat than it is an ice skate where it's just kind of drifting. As you see the 28 doing the same.
Yeah, I mean, he just got tight. I mean, it looked a lot like, kind of I hate to go back to the Larson and Bubba Wallace incident to where, Larson tried to dive it in underneath 3 wide and got tight. That's exactly what happened as Kendall hits the wall again. Kendall is having some issues right now.
Yeah, Chris Severa saying, okay, I think it's about time for me to go ahead and get around this guy.
Yeah, definitely.
And now Chris Severa tags the wall just a little bit. Guess he had a little logo right there on that right rear quarter panel that he didn't want on the car, so he just kind of sanded it off real nice and smooth like.
I mean, what a fast day, though, for Don Avery. I mean, he looked like he might have been burning tires up in the first couple stages, but looking at lap times, he's still the fastest car on the racetrack right now by multiple tenths. I mean, for most of the drivers out there, of course, Severa is about a tenth slower than Don Avery. He's got a lot of time to make up. So Avery is in primed position. I think you might have spoke something into existence on Thursday, Big Al.
Well, I have been known to prophesize every once in a while, though. So if those of you out there would like to have the prophecies of Big Al, never mind, I'm just joking. But
Call
yeah,
555.
No, but yeah, Don is overdue, man, and that's all I was telling them. It's time for them to actually get a good run and get that team in the winner's circle. As Severa now pulling up alongside of the 42 of Jose Acosta, this battle is going to be for that podium slot. Still about 10 laps out of green flag pit stops is what I'm going to gander, Brian.
Yeah, the window's going to open soon, but I think that these guys are going to go a little bit further. I would assume 95 is about where we're going to see the majority of these guys come down pit road. So yeah, about 10 laps. I think you hit it right on square on the head there. So here comes Chris Severa once again, going to go side by side. Oh, Kendall having some more issues.
Well, Kendall's car is not going to handle any better than it is right now. I just want to just go right out there and say that just for the record. He is going to continue to have handling woes until he brings that thing down pit road. Now, how long he stays out, I think right now he's going to be looking, and as soon as they tell him that, hey, we're good to go on the fuel, he's going to be coming down. But he's going to have to be very smart that he doesn't put himself in the same situation that he's in right now, where he comes out, burns those tires up, and then later on the run, say once we're 5 to go in this thing, he finds himself in a situation where his car is undrivable.
Wow, look at this. So, Jose, I love it. I respect the game. Jose pushed Chris Severa into the corner, into 1 and 2. Tried to push him a little bit faster than he probably wanted to go. Chris just hit the ground running and rode the top side and just powered out. Look at him. He's pulling away. But, of course, he has a long way to go to get up there. 3 wide.
Yeah, almost 3 wide back there between O'Hara, Wachinski, and LeVron. But what you got is you still got the 28 and the 5, and they're just trading blows back here.
And these guys have a little bit of history. I mean, they've had contact with each other tonight.
Yeah, they can't get away from each other. I think that's their problem.
Thomas O'Hara probably wants to get away from them as quick as possible either. You can see that this is definitely turning into the potential of an accident waiting to happen here, as he's going to try to run up top to see if he can't possibly get by these guys some way, looking for any hole he can find.
Yeah, because he has no allegiance to either one of these two guys. I mean, his best play is to try to get away from and around these guys. As Don Avery continues to I mean, he's definitely marching to the beat of his own drum. And I think for a lot of guys, he's so far out, they can't even hear it.
Oh, yeah, he is now 1.3 seconds out in front as we see. I do believe the fuel windows have started to open up here. I think these guys can make it to the end now as possible.
John Mullins is down pit road right now. I think, and like we said, he was just waiting. I think it won't be a surprise if you see Kendall LeVron coming down here pretty soon as well. I don't think you're going to see the 11 come down anytime soon, though, as he has got to keep doing what he's doing and try to build as big of a lead as he possibly can while some of these other guys are continuing to suffer.
Yeah, definitely a lot of that going on. You know what? I kind of feel a little bit bad for Kenny Powell because, like, he's sitting here all by his lonesome. He could barely see Don Avery. And when you're in this kind of position to where you're in no man's land in a lot of ways, it's hard to know what pace you need to be running, Big Al.
And now Powell's going as fast as his car will let him go. I think he's right there sitting in the driver's seat and he's holding on for dear life is what's going on. I mean, he wants to be fast. But what Powell's got to do is he's got to really kind of focus on his own game and not the gain of Chris Severa or the loss of the 11 in front of him. He's just got to keep trying to run as fast and consistent laps as he can as a 42 of Jose Acosta now down on pit road.
Yep, see Jose on pit road right now, so a big call there for him. Going ahead and get his stop out of the way. So I think we're going to see a lot of different strategies here tonight.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you're right at the topsy-turvy part. So if it was atrocious to handle here, guys, it's gonna be worse when we come through. So now I'm telling you, the worst is over. Stay out there, try to get 5 more laps in, and you'll be a lot happier because you'll be able to drive a little bit faster on those fresher tires. As our leader, Don Avery, now down pit road, and now it doesn't matter, Brian. Now that the leader's on pit road, everybody has to come down pit road at this point because the one thing you don't want is Don Avery on fresh tires. So you're never going to catch him at this point.
No, I think you're right on the money there. I think this is probably going to call Kenny Powell down pit road. We'll have to wait and see as he starts to slow down. Yeah, he's bringing it down. So that is, I do believe, going to put Chris Severa in the lead. Oh, Kenny Powell almost loses it there. Good on him to keep that thing pointed in the right direction. That was a scary situation there if I ever saw one.
Chris Severa will probably be coming down on this next run. Gary Adamson are the only two that have not yet pit. Remember, Thomas O'Hara is on a completely different pit cycle as he's got 19 laps on his tires already. He's the truck or the car that you see out ahead of Chris Severa. Chris Severa is your naturally aspirated leader at this point.
100%. I do believe we have just a little under 40 laps to go here in this race. And, of course, these guys have been out here or Chris Severa has been out here for 47 laps. So he's definitely well into, the run, of course. But when he comes out, he's going to have newer tires than everybody.
Yeah, he's the only one right now that has not yet pit. And I think he's going to ready to fix that. And here he comes. And now, if everything goes well, Donna Avery should see himself post back up. He'll be in second. Thomas O'Hara should be listed as your natural leader.
Yeah, that's definitely exactly what's going on here. Don Avery, of course, still behind Thomas O'Hara, like you mentioned, on 22-lap-old tires right now. So he is definitely going to be substantially off the pace, but he's on a little bit of a different strategy. We saw him go pit way earlier. And I don't think he can. I don't think he's going to make it.
No, he's not. He's on a lot of bit of a different strategy. Not sure what was going on with that, but who knows? Sometimes guys just, weird things happen. So we have no idea what the actual call was. Chris Severa now making his way back off of pit road, and I think he's going to be scored all the way down in 6th place as he is going to come out behind Darren Mullins.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He comes out right behind Darren Mullins, of course, a little bit out a ways in front of Greg Wychinski. As Thomas O'Hara continues to lead this thing, getting some laps led. Hey, that's some bonus points. I don't blame him for trying to do this. And if a caution came out right now, he'd be looking pretty good. I don't know, though. I think he'd want maybe 10 more laps or something to maybe make it to where everybody else would come down with him.
Yeah, but he's well over a second slower than the leader, so right now, best he can just hope is just to be out front but not hold up traffic too bad. So I don't see him putting up much of a fight because his ride's going to be a lot rougher than everybody else's, Brian.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And the ride don't go nowhere if it don't got any gas in it either. It ain't got no gas in it.
Yeah, imagine this, right now he is at 25 laps when these other guys are at 0. So he's got a stage length on his tires, and these guys are just starting. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. We do see a battle going on here for 3rd place. What is essentially going to be 2nd place. Kenny Powell and Jose Acosta are kind of dueling it out right now. See Chris Severa, who was one of the last guys to pit, is now, like you said, back there in 6th place. He is 8 seconds behind the leader. He's about six and a half seconds behind Don Avery here, so he's going to be definitely hoping he can make something happen. Jose Acosta now side by side with the 24. Now, of course, Acosta is on, I do believe, 3-lap older tires than Kenny Powell here, but still showing some significant speed, even though he's a little bit at a deficit compared to the 24. Now 34 laps remain here in this race, and we're entering what we would call the final stage. We've already had 100 laps so far, about 250 miles, or 150 miles, I should say. That's a little bit too many. Oh, Jose Acosta getting really loose there, almost gets up there into the 24.
Yeah, these two now going to be exchanging blows, if you will, for a while, Brian. I don't think they're going to be able to get away from each other as well.
Yeah, and them being side by side and battling like they are is helping the case for that 62. I do believe Thomas O'Hara has finally brought it down pit road, I do believe. No, he's not. Actually, Don Avery passed him legitly on the racetrack here. So Avery is now back to the lead.
Yeah, I mean, there was no, like I told you, that O'Hara had no chance of defending the lead at all. He was just sitting there for a while. He was a placeholder, if you will.
Of course, he now has almost 30 laps on his equipment. Kenny Powell has defeated Jose Acosta for now, and is now safely up into what will be second place whenever Kenny does get by Jose Acosta. Of course, he's not that far back from, I'm not Jose Acosta, Thomas O'Hara. He's not that far back from him right now.
And O'Hara will slowly get captured by these guys, but the question is going to be, Don Avery, he has got to run a consistent pace. He cannot run his tires off the car right now, because towards the end of this thing right now, he's got 10 laps on his tires. Well, he's still got 31 laps to go in this thing before it's over. And the last thing he wants to see is Chris Severa reeling him in and passing him with 2 or 3 laps to go.
Yeah, right now Chris Severa is about 4.8 seconds back from Don Avery. So that is definitely something that's got to be present in his mind. I mean, being up in the lead this late in the race has got to be exciting, but it also could be somewhat distracting. You know, I'm up in the lead and nothing can go wrong here, and you maybe don't focus on saving as much. And I think that could be a possibility. I'm praying Don does not do that. I have a lot of faith that Don might be able to get this thing done tonight. I mean, he is taking care of business so far tonight. Already got a Stage 2 win, and he finds himself in the lead at this integral part of the race.
Well, the 42 now going by the 117 to Thomas O'Hara. As Thomas O'Hara continues to slide back. Now he finds himself in 4th place, but Chris Severa is going to be coming right by him here next shortly, and he'll be in 5th place.
O'Hara running on the bottom. I don't think he wants any of these guys to pass him, but I don't think he has a choice in the matter as Severa drives right around the high side, now catches up to the back of the 42 of Jose. Here comes Severa on the inside.
Severa's going to be trying to do everything in his power to put the hammer down. He has got to try to reel in the 11 of Don Avery. But however, Severa, I think, is going to have to drive a lot harder and faster than maybe he would want to in order to make that happen.
Yeah, I think he's going to be kicking himself if he fell off, or not fell off, but fell to the rear of the pack like he did, and it not have been worth it that you fell off or you went too far back. And by the time he gets to Avery, what's going to be left of those tires? I think that's the real question here, as we're now well into under 30 laps to go here in this race, and time is definitely starting to run out.
Well, Avery's done everything that he's needed to do with it on pace as well, because, he has made it towards the end of those stages and still had a little bit left. With 26 laps to go in the race, though, this is going to be his greatest challenge yet.
Well, yeah, and even looking at the lap times here, I mean, Severa is 0.2 faster than Don Avery right now. I mean, that could be enough. I mean, with the amount of time we have left here. I mean, and he also looking at Kenny Powell. I mean, Kenny Powell's 1/10 faster than Don Avery. So Avery, could this be a strategic call to back it down a little bit? I'm 16 laps old on my tires right now. Let's save them. When I'll have the tools remaining when these guys catch me. I think that's what he's doing right now.
The advantage that Avery has is, number one, he's in the lead. And that's key, because it's his to relinquish. And I don't think he's going to be in the business of doing that tonight. With 25 laps to go, he's just going to have to get his elbows out and show these guys that, hey, look, not only do I get a seat at the table, but I'm going to eat. Let that big dog eat. Let him go, Don.
I'm sure Sherry's loving you right now out there for sure. As we see Darren Mullins going to be driving around Thomas O'Hare. Also Greg Wachinski. So that's going to put Darren Mullins up into 5th. Definitely a great job for Darren Mullins tonight. I mean, we've seen him a lot of times not, I think, get the finishes that he would deserve, but he's definitely putting on one tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's just got to he's got to be consistent. Consistency, continuously consistent.
Here comes Greg Wachinski, though, to try to challenge for this 5th place position. Wachinski on the inside now. Of course, Wachinski, I do believe, has about 5-lap newer tires. Now, that could be significant here in this battle, and I think, Wachinski's going to be able to take that spot away. Will Mullins answer?
No. At this stage of the run, man, you're just, you just kind of fall in and give it what you got.
I think Don Avery's got to be hoping that when Chris gets up to Kenny, they battle, to where, Kenny's not just going to lay over and let Chris go. They might be on the same team, but that's just not how this is going to play out.
Yeah, that teamwork stuff, that just works as far as, sharing recipes and, maybe drafting. But as far as racing, there's no such thing.
Yeah, I'd call it probably more like co-opetition, right?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Severa's out here. He's out here to better his own bottom line. That's the 62. He doesn't have the 62 hyphenated 24 on his car. It's just the 62. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I think Don Avery has turned up the heat a little bit, though. Last time by, he was just a bit faster than Kenny Powell and just a little bit a little bit slower than Chris Severa, but by only, I do believe, a couple hundredths, which is not very much.
I believe he probably has the tools in his toolbox, in his arsenal, that are letting him know exactly how long he needs to hold off or how much longer and when he can actually put the hammer down. And I think that's what you're seeing right now. So now with 20 laps to go, there's going to come a point in time where, that little rabbit in his ear is going to say, hey, man, it's go time, because it's going to be go time for everybody else. So it's going to have to be go time for him as well. The one thing he doesn't want to do is just have to defend his position later on in the run.
Nice cockpit camera here from Chris Severa as he tries to chase down Kenny Powell. This is definitely where the battle is happening right now for this 2nd place position, and this could have race-winning results here if Powell races Chris hard. And I think he's doing exactly that right now. I don't think Kenny is not going to make this easy, and this is almost handing the win to Don Avery as we're now less than 20 to go. I do believe only 16 laps remain.
Well, he's not handing the win to Avery. He's trying to save 2nd place. I mean, you got to think about it. How often does Kenny Powell get an opportunity to talk to Big Al? So he needs to get on the horn to get some of that good, great advice that I give the guys in the predictions, and that's what's going to make him do better next week. I mean, look at what I've done for Don Avery.
Oh, so you calling it now? Kenny's next week?
No.
Oh, he's going to love listening back to this.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that, yeah, Powell's definitely got to put his elbows out, and he has got to defend his position.
Well, he's doing exactly that. I mean, Severa has not been able to get by him, has actually ran a little bit slower that last time by. Don Avery, fastest driver on the racetrack, 32.115 last time by. We see some other battling going on back here. Gary Adamson, this is a little bit back here, I do believe in 8th place. Frank Flores trying to hold on to some positions here. Of course, Thomas O'Hara, I do believe, has already went down pit road. We haven't mentioned him in a little bit. He's on the fresh equipment now.
Yeah, but I mean, he still has, he's a lap down, and I mean, he has a universe to catch up.
And the battle is still on for second place. Here comes Chris Rivera, regrouping, rearming, and getting after Kenny Powell. Now less than 15 laps to go here. Don Avery is now out to 3.7 seconds. He can all but taste that trophy. What a race for that 11. Finished second on Thursday's race.
Oh, Chris Rivera trying to get around Kenny Powell. These two right here looks like it got a little bit sporty, but that was just from my vantage point. Rivera now going to best Powell. That's going to move him up to P2.
I think he is running out of time, though. I mean, he is out. I mean, Don is 3.7 seconds out in front. There's no... I mean, Chris would have to get a half a second faster every lap, and I just don't think that is anywhere near attainable.
It just takes a bobble.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it takes something going wrong for Don Avery, but, I mean, he's in a position right now. I just think that as long as you just mind your P's and Q's and don't make any huge mistakes. Do have another battle going on right now as Jose Acosta, I do believe, has just lost fourth place as Greg Wyszynski drives around on the high side. Kendall Levron also up in this picture.
Yeah, Jose definitely not.
Sorry, big guy, you kind of cut out there. What'd you say?
I said Jose definitely not feeling it here on this run. I don't know what adjustments they made at the break, but definitely didn't work out in their favor.
Yeah, definitely not. As we see Kendall Levron goes to the top side, going to run the top of the racetrack, see if he can get some momentum. I think he's going to get it out of turn two. It looks like he's going to get by Jose Acosta and take over fifth place, actually. So nice recovery for that 28 here tonight. I know it has not been probably the best experience there for that car. But Don Avery still out front, 3.3 seconds, and now going to be 10 laps to go when he crosses the start-finish line. Of course, Chris Rivera 0.2 faster than him last time by. To put it in perspective, Chris Rivera has 3-lap newer tires, which does not sound like much, but in Chris Rivera's hands, that is a lot, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With 10 laps to go, I mean, just going to have to keep watching it. But so far, Don Avery being able to keep that lead at about 3 seconds, and I think that's where he's going to want to be.
I mean, and you can see that when, they can see each other now. I mean, Chris Rivera has eyes on Don Avery, so that is kind of providing that carrot on the stick, as I always say, that he's going to be trying to chase him down. I just do not think he's going to have enough time as the laps start to just dwindle away. And Don Avery looking so good. I mean, I guarantee you, Sherry's sitting at home on the couch on the edge of her seat watching this one, Big Al.
Don still having just a little bit of work left to do. Can't get crowned just yet. Still 8 laps left to go in this thing. His lead now just under 3 seconds. Nothing in between him and Chris Rivera. Nobody in front of him. So far, it looks like we've got 9 cars remaining on the lead lap out of the 12 cars that started the race. So that's pretty good in itself.
I mean, it's been a very clean race. I mean, not very many cautions here tonight. Of course, we did see some very close calls that I think have affected some of the results of the race, but Don Avery has been on his game all race long. Here's where I do believe we're going to have 6 to go here when we cross the start-finish line this next time by. Chris Rivera now 3 seconds behind. I think he's losing a little bit of time right now. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Looks like he I don't know. He powers
Well,
out on the straightaways. He's starting to gain back some of that time.
It's about 2.6 seconds is the deficit there. So he has made up 3/10 of a second.
He's going to need to make up a whole lot more than that here as we come to 5 laps to go when we cross the line next time by. Time is running out. But Don Avery, I mean, the pressure has got to be just on him right now to not make a mistake. And a lot of times, I know with me, Big Al, whenever I'm in the lead in a high-stakes situation like this, I make that mistake, you know?
Well, he doesn't want anybody to make a mistake.
He don't want a caution or anything that could come out here and change the results of this race.
Yeah, he's just wanting everybody to just kind of keep their noses clean. I mean, we got 5 laps to go in this thing, and I mean, I'm probably as excited as he is. I mean, this has definitely been a long time coming for him, but he's just now, his lead's down to 2.5 seconds, so Chris Rivera slowly chipping away.
You also see a little further back here, Kendall LeBron is digging deep to try to catch up there to Greg Wychinski. Only, I do believe, just a second separates these two drivers, less than that now. 4 laps to go. Oh, a little touch through the wall there for the 28. Kenny Powell, of course, sitting in 3rd place. Didn't he finish 3rd in Thursday's race? Am I mistaken?
I don't know.
No, I think Kenny had a bad night. That's right, because we ended up talking to him on Thursday. That's right.
Yeah.
Looking at the gap now, 2.4 seconds, 2.3 seconds, and shrinking. Chris is catching him. And looking at lap times, it's only by about a half a tenth that he's catching him, and it's not going to be enough. As we're coming here now to 2 laps to go. Of course, after that, a white flag comes out, and it's anybody's game after that. Next flag will end it once we get there. Don Avery, Triad, definitely deserves a big shout-out here tonight. Gave this man a really good race car. Sure, I guarantee you that all those boys, Jeffrey Souza, those guys are watching, and they're loving this right now. Watching their boy Don Avery come out here and, put it on someone like Chris Rivera. I mean, that's got to be a good feeling. As the white flag is going to be coming out, crossing the start-finish line is Don Avery. Can he keep it together for one more lap? Onto the backstretch he goes. There's some lap cars out in front of him, but none he needs to worry about. Chris Rivera 2.3 seconds back and still closing, but it is not going to be enough time. As Don Avery exits turn 4, he's going to cross the line, and look at that. Don Avery gets the victory. Big Al, I think you're even owed a shout-out for this one.
Say again?
I said, I think you're even owed a shout-out for this one. Like you called this one into fruition. Of course, Don Avery had to do the driving, though. He definitely deserves the majority of the credit, but great job to Don Avery winning this race. Chris Rivera finishing in 2nd place. 3rd place, Kenny Powell. 4th place, Greg Wychinski. 5th place, Kendall LeBron. 6th place, Jose Acosta. 7th place, Darren Mullins. 8th place, Frank Flores. 9th place, Gary Adamson. 10th place, Thomas O'Hara.
And Derek Jacobs and Joey Preby behind the wall in 11th and 12th. That concludes the race, and looks like Don Avery is out there enjoying his post-race celebrations. And speaking of that, we're going to step away, get a brief word from our sponsors, and we'll be back with our post-race coverage.
At Trader Joe's, we do things a little differently, and our customers hold us to a very high standard. This is Dan Bain of Trader Joe's. We work hard to live up to the high standard you've come to expect of us. We travel the world to bring you unique, exciting, exotic products, as well as the basics like milk, eggs, and butter, all at the very best prices every day. We also believe that a satisfying shopping experience is about more than just good products. We want you to enjoy shopping at Trader Joe's. The upbeat crew members, the samples of wonderful foods served up by our great demo crew, so you'll come back often and bring your family and friends too. And how's this for unique? We're so confident that you'll be happy with the products you find at Trader Joe's, we even have a distinctive guarantee. We've tried it and we liked it, but if you don't, just bring it back for a full refund. Thanks for listening.
At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, like how nice it is to switch and save on your auto policy. But it's even nicer knowing that if this happens, or this happens, or this, or even this, we've seen and covered it. So call 1-800-FARMERS to switch your auto policy and you could save an average of $470. Get a quote today.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for our post-race show here after the Trader Joe's 200. Of course, Don Avery able to bring home the win. Chris Severa in second place. Kenny Powell in third. Now we're joined in the booth by our third-place finisher, Kenny Powell. How you doing, man? I mean, it seemed like you had a pretty good race. You tried to battle hard there to Chris Severa. What did you need to get there?
I don't know. I mean, I had a good car. It drove well. I didn't feel really too loose or too tight. I think the mistake that I point back to is stage 2. I let it. Don caught me, passed me. I didn't fight him. I still had good enough tires. Caught back up to him, and then as I'm trying to race him, he was running the high line, and I got in the dirty air, hit the wall one time, and it didn't show damage. I didn't have any damage in the pits, but it was from that moment that I just didn't quite have it like I had it before. So I don't know if that was it. Like I said, there was no damage in the pits, so it could have been in the brain. I don't know, but I'm proud of that run. It was a good one.
Well, I mean, I say you should be proud of it, man. I mean, third place, I know it's definitely a heck of a recovery from Thursday, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely.
Usually, I know on Thursday, we don't usually have you joining us in the broadcast booth so early, but we'd love to have you. But glad you got your third place finish for sure, man. Yeah, I know you guys are going to be actually going to Chicagoland, and even though the officials are going to iRacing Super Speedway, Chicagoland is going to be coming up on the docket. Love that racetrack with these cars. I mean, last time we went here or to Chicago, it was awesome. How do you feel about it?
Well, actually, it's a bit of a difference between Thursday and the Saturday. Thursday, we're going to Chicagoland because of the Thanksgiving holiday. But for this Saturday league, we will be doing the iRacing Super Speedway as the A Opens do, followed by Chicagoland. So next week here will be the Super Speedway, iRacing Super Speedway. I like Super Speedway tracks, Talladega and Daytona. I'm not sure I put this one in that category, so it'll just be a fun week. I'll put it that way. And
is it a fun week that counts for points?
It is a fun week that counts for points, but I'll be a little less serious about it, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, I'm a little torn on that racetrack. We'll have to wait and see how that kind of goes. I know some guys will like it better than others for sure. That's more of a little bit of a, I'd say, controversial racetrack, decisive, I should say, or divisive. I can't remember the word. I'm not Webster.
Divisive.
I'm not Webster over here, but we appreciate you, man. Great job on your third place. Can't wait to see what you can do Thursday and Saturday next week. Who can we give a good shout out to for after this third place?
Yeah, give a shout out to you guys in the booth. Always appreciate y'all. Farmers Insurance for supporting the league. The set is TWRS this week. They do great work over there, so give them a try. And G&G, the G&G Racing Shop, we had a fun week, and love all my guys back in the shop.
All right, definitely for sure. Didn't see a whole lot of love on the racetrack between you and Severi. Y'all were racing each other pretty hard, but we definitely know that you guys, after the race is over, we go back to playing some putt party or something.
No, that was more my fault. I got loose off the corner. That wasn't his fault. I'm actually proud of him for not hitting me. So, he hit me, but not wrecking me. So proud of him. And man, shout out to Don too. Great run.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Don Avery getting the victory. Big shout out to him. We're going to get to him, give him a whole lot more time here in just a moment. We appreciate your time, Kenny, though.
Yeah, man. See
All
y'all
right.
later.
That was Kenny Powell, our third place finisher here tonight there in that 24 machine. Next up is going to be Chris Severi, and Big Al is standing by.
Always a pleasure to pull up Chris Severi. Chris Severi, Big Al, you got me. Chris Severi is Big Al. Hey, man, how's it going, sir?
Good, man.
All right, so you came out here tonight, man. Got a good, solid start. Started out in fourth place. You even got a stage win there, winning stage one. So what happened here going into the third stage? Was it a matter of you just waiting too late to go, or was that 11 just a rocket ship?
No, he was absolutely gone. He definitely had the long run set. Probably saved too much in the beginning of the stage, but that's on me. Probably could have came in a little bit quicker too. There's probably a bunch of little things we could have done to make it close. But even if I got to Don, I know he's very good with playing with the air and doing what he's got to do at tracks like this to stay out there. So hats off to him. I don't even think I would be able to pass him even if I got to him there at the end. But no, it was a lot of fun. This track's great, all the different lines. Really sliding the car out there. Yeah, it was a good time.
So did you have a little bit better time here this time around than you did the first time we were here this year?
I honestly don't even remember the last time we were here.
I got you. Next week, though, won't be too hard to forget. We're going to the iRacing Super Speedway. What are your thoughts on that little bad boy?
Twofold. I mean, I guess we'll see what kind of tire we get when we get there, because if it's a save tire festival, I just don't think you're going to be able to run flat out like you want to without pushing up the track, but I don't think we've ever been there with these cars, so there's a lot of what ifs that iRacing could do, but hopefully it can turn out like Dega or Daytona with the plate package there, because it's all right, but I don't know. We'll see when we get there.
And speaking of that, so obviously you've had a little bit more time, to under your belt for the other tracks, but not a lot of time on the iRacing Super Speedway. So is that something that you're looking forward to preparing for, or are you just kind of gonna just sit back on it?
Nah, I don't think it's gonna be too much of a thing to really deal with. I mean, you get the diffuser as close as you can to the ground, and hold the throttle flat and turn left. But
yeah, pretty much.
I don't know. Like I said, the car's never been there before, so maybe iRacing will throw us something interesting there. But I'm leaning more towards the unlikely side. But anything with these group of guys out there, I'm sure should be a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bud, congratulations to you for P2 tonight. Sorry that you didn't actually get to bring it home there in the victory lane, but look at the bright side. At least I got a chance to talk to you. Before we let you go, who you shouting out tonight for your P2 finish?
Yeah, Fanatec, Apex Racing, Advanced Sim Racing, Team Watson Racing, NRG Innovations, everybody at G&G. You guys, as always, for putting on the fantastic broadcast week after week. And again, just hats off to Don. He was just had a beast car, beast driver tonight. So,
All right, don't go out there and party too hard, man. We'll see you next week.
I guess.
Alrighty, that was Chris Severa in the 62 machine, able to finish second place here tonight. Just did not have what it took to get up there to our next guest, Don Avery. I mean, I almost, you know what, Big Al, you take this one because you earned this one too.
Don Avery, Big Al up in the booth. You got me.
Hey, Al, how you doing?
Always a pleasure, sir. Seems like we had this conversation and we were just talking about you getting it done and putting that thing in victory circle, bringing home the biscuits for the team, if you will. Well, you got it done tonight. And I'm going to tell you did it in tremendous form. You got yourself a stage win. You put down the fastest lap and you led the last lap. So congratulations to all three of those. And to what do you owe your success this evening, sir?
Oh, it's definitely the Triad team. The race setup was awesome. It was on rails for the most part. I could run it up high or low if I wanted to. So that's what I'm going to attribute to, and me not making any mistakes. Jeffrey Hughes was on the box coaching me through today, so that was turned out really well.
That's got to be awesome. How many laps did you put down? And from the setup that you received, did you have to tweak it a lot, or did it just feel like it was natural for you here?
I think I added or took out a half a pound in like the left rear. We did a one-click adjustment there at the end, or on the green flag stop, just to make sure it wasn't going to get any freer going in later with the temperatures. So that worked out great.
Indeed, it did. Like I said, you put down the fastest lap. You led the most laps, I do believe, as well. You got to be feeling pretty good about your performance here tonight. And now that goes into next week. Probably doesn't transfer over, at least not 1-to-1, but the momentum of a win here definitely can't hurt. So what are you expecting your chances to be next week as we battle the iRacing Super Speedway?
I have no idea. I think I've run there one time, but I don't know if I did any racing there. Maybe just some practice. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. But I'll do some practice and hopefully get a setup tuned in where I can at least run in the pack. So we'll see what happens when we get there.
Well, I'll tell you what, after you've graced us with your presence here in Victory Lane, and I even got a bump, I got to come up here because you prophesized this last, I do believe we talked on Thursday, and you said you were going to win this thing. So I'm going to ask you this, man. Can you come on and give us a prediction? Is this going to be something that we can look forward to more and more? Is this going to be a consistent thing here, you think, you getting in Victory Lane?
We'll keep putting in some practice, working on setups, and I got to keep working on me not making any mistakes, keep my head on my shoulders, and just be there at the end to try something. If that happens and I get some more wins, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely, sir. Congratulations again. Before we let you go, who you shouting out for your win here in the ISCA Saturday Night Series?
To my wife, Sherry, as always, I always give her a shout out. She watches the race every weekend or every week. Also to Triad, those guys are awesome over there. They put together some good sets. We got a good practice. What's the word I'm looking for? We got a good practice program going over there also. I just need to get more practice in this week. I had some stuff going on last week, but get some more practice in there. Sousa Media, Stan Analyzer, you guys in the booth, and of course Kenny for putting all this on. It wouldn't be possible without him.
Well, absolutely, sir. Thank you for giving us the opportunity and giving us good things to talk about. So congratulations again to you win, man, and hopefully you'll be able to duplicate this and we'll get to see you more and more on the circle.
I hope so too, Al. Thanks.
Alrighty, that was Don Avery, our winner this evening. Definitely did a fantastic job here tonight. put on a show. I mean, he led 99 laps out of 134. If that's not domination, I don't know what is, but definitely a big shout out to all the other drivers that competed out here. Very clean, very great racing. Definitely a lot of guys battling for position out here tonight, Big Al. I mean, it was a fantastic showing. These guys, we had green flag pit stops. We had a little bit of beating and banging. About everything we could see here, even in a small field.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the action did not disappoint, nor did the transitions. Just always a great production, man. With Big Al up in the booth, I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
100%. I always love being here with my partner in crime, Big Al. We always definitely. Sometimes we get into some little spats, but a lot of times it's very entertaining to listen to. You might even hear us singing a song. But we appreciate everybody out there tuning in. Make sure you tune in next Thursday. Of course, we are going to be racing at, I do believe, Chicagoland for that race. So 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be going live. Of course, the green flag will be at just a little bit after 9:30. Same time and everything on Saturday, but the difference is we'll be at iRacing Super Speedway. And remember, we only have 3 races to go in both the Cup Series for the Thursday and Saturday. So make sure you tune in because we're getting ready to crown a champion here in just a few weeks. And if we don't see you on Thursday, I think we're going to be wishing some happy Thanksgivings here in just a little bit. But thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time.